Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Doug Klaus. I'm president of the Type Directors Club. Thank you. And I welcome you all to this evening of celebration surrounding our 63rd annual exhibition, which you may have already seen outside briefly, and the presentation of our club's Medal of Excellence. We have a great evening planned for you, and I just have a few announcements before I introduce our Master of Ceremonies. So first, we invite you to post anything on social media about our speakers and the work in the exhibition. Use hashtag TDC63, tag us on Twitter and Instagram. The show is up through August 10th. Also, I want to acknowledge tonight our sponsors who really have helped us a lot to make this evening possible. The Lubalin Center here at the Cooper Union for again offering this fantastic space. To Monotype, which has been a driving force for the TDC's Beatrice Warde Scholarship and is co-sponsor of tonight's festivities. To Parsons, the New School, which has hosted our competition judging this year. To A Studio Solutions, who provide so much support for the club's exhibitions program. And finally, special thanks to John Kudos for his TDC exhibition design app, and to Full Point Graphics, who donated the handsome vinyl title on the wall outside tonight's exhibition. And a moment ago, before I started speaking, you saw an animation created by Left Loft, which is a Milan-based design firm that did all of the branding and design for this year's competition. We owe them a huge thank you for the creativity and innovation that they brought to our website, the publicity, and the upcoming book, which documents this year's competition. And throughout this evening, you'll see Left Loft's animations on the screens throughout the program. And now I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, a writer, educator, artist, and designer who hosts the popular podcast Design Matters and chairs the Masters in Branding program at the School of Visual Arts. Please welcome Debbie Millman.
Hello. I'm your mistress of ceremonies. Let's be clear. Thank you, Doug. I am so proud and pleased and thrilled and excited to be here to kick off the program. And as you can see, we are absolutely not bashful about proclaiming that we are sharing the world's best type and typography. Would you agree? Yes, the world's best, yes. So you're going to see the best of the year selected by fine, independent people. They are our panel of judges who set the bar quite high. So if you're here and you're getting an award, it means you've surpassed that bar. So you're going to meet the competition organizers. We are excited to share insights. They are excited to share. I'm excited to share too. They're excited to share the insights on what designers from all over the world have submitted this year. We're going to introduce you to an international group of award-winning design students who represent the next generation of type innovators, and you can talk to some of them later at the reception where there will be wine. And we're also going to award the club's highest honor to one of the most influential type designers in the world, and we are very pleased, thrilled, and honored to have him with us here tonight. So we're here tonight to celebrate type, great design, and its importance across cultures, countries, and media on the world stage. And speaking of the world stage, each year the Type Directors Club sends this award-winning work on tours throughout the world. The show has visited a total of 77 cities and 34 countries. Last year's show alone reached audiences in over 35 cities in 14 countries. Over 3,000 people viewed last year's exhibit at Taiwan Tech. And in January, the show opened for the first time in Chiang Mai in northern Thailand and drew nearly 4,900 visitors. The Typographic Association of Bangkok, Cadson DMAC Foundry, the Prime Minister's Cultural Affairs Office, all helped make the show's debut a rousing success. So the show you're seeing here tonight is going to have a similar impact as it travels throughout Europe, the United States, Asia, and the Middle East. People like type. So to be sure to check out the interactive TDC map in the back of the gallery. Hashtag TDC Global shows the location of winning contributions from all over the world by using hand gestures, so to think Minority Report. I have this theory that everything we've seen in Minority Report is pretty much come true. In any case, you can visualize the winning entries from any geographic region and learn the concepts behind each work. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what you're going to see tonight. So it all starts right here with the judging. And this is how we do it. Every year, we assemble a panel of very distinguished judges, professionals from all areas of design, and specialists in non-Latin languages, so curators in a sense, of 2017's The World's Best Type and Typography. This year's communication design judges reviewed nearly 1,800 pieces from 52 countries. They chose only 200 winning entries. The type design judges sifted through more than 230 typefaces from 41 countries. Only 15 were chosen. Each year, 7 communication design and 4 typeface design judges get lost on TDC Island. They come to New York for a weekend of contemplation and discussion and a rigorous selection process involving little cups and tokens. Well, I urge you to ask them. Now, the devil is in the details, and to see those details, you clearly need big black glasses. Now that you've heard a little bit about the process, I'll be introducing you to the chairs of this year's 2 competitions. First up, typeface design. I'd like to introduce you to the chairman of the typeface competition. He's a graphic designer and a type designer, currently with Adobe Typekit. He's also a really awesome human. Please welcome Dan Rhatigan.
So what we do when we start diving into looking at all of these typefaces is kind of the middle part of this whole process. It begins when you try to recruit a very smart, very talented, and very diversely opinionated group of people who you know are going to dig in and have some good debates about the work. This year, we've got a panel of judges who proved to be superlative in all respects in helping us go through everything. Burton Hasabi, an independent typeface designer who formerly worked with commercial type. Ksenia Samarskaya, who designs typefaces as well as many, many other things. Senior partner at Lippincott, Brendan Murphy. And independent typeface designer as well as researcher and educator Alice Savoie, who joined us all the way from France. As Debbie mentioned, there were 230 entries from 41 countries, and only 15 were chosen at the end after the judges went through everything. But what did each judge identify as their top picks? Burton's choice was Christian Vargas's typeface Salvaje. Ksenia selected Zhang Weimin's Lingering Fonts typeface for the Weixin Culture Communications in China. Brendan selected Nina Stosinger's Nordvest typeface, which is published by Monochrome Type Foundry in Oslo. Nina, I know you're here. Congratulations. And Alice selected Condis, which incorporates 3 writing systems designed by Juan Luis Blanco and Laura Messiger of Spain, and their colleague Christian Sarkis, who works in Lebanon and Amsterdam. All of this is great work, which you can spend more time with in the gallery, in the exhibition after we go through all this. Congratulations to everyone whose work is represented. We're so pleased with what we saw this year. Now it's time to move to the communications design competition, and here are our competition co-chairs for that, Angela Voulangas and Joe Newton.
Thanks, Dan. I'm Angela Voulangas.
And I'm Joe Newton, and I'd like to welcome you to the communication design portion of tonight's presentation. So tonight we're going to introduce you to our judges, and we really loved this part of the process. We spent a lot of time talking about how to best achieve diversity and variety of specialty and location, and we were really pleased that all of the judges we picked accepted this mission and cleared their busy schedules to spend an entire weekend doing the judging.
Looking at and deliberating over all these submissions in a multitude of languages and media, on screen and in person over 3 full days, can definitely take its toll. Luckily, we had a lot of coffee, and all our judges rose to the task with humor and grace and gave serious consideration to all of the submissions. The judges were Spencer Charles, a lettering artist and type designer in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Spencer runs Charles & Thorne with his equally talented wife, Kelly Thorne.
Stuart Devlin, whose projects have ranged from branding a UK bread baker to a worldwide proprietary font for Intel. Stuart is Chief Creative Officer for New York City-based Red Peak.
And Xerxes Irani, a branding expert. He is the principal designer for Amazon homepage in Seattle. Xerxes also had a brief star turn in the 2006 action movie 300.
We're kidding, Xerxes, I'm sorry, but you see what it takes to get through a really long weekend of judging. So Alejandro Paul, founding partner of Argentine type foundry Sutipos, probably needs no introduction to this audience, and super widely awarded. And I think we can safely say Ale has been spearheading a lot of the explosion of Latin American and South American type design. So we were really lucky to have him on our team.
Then there was Ben Schott, an author and designer of the Schott's Miscellany series. Ben both writes and designs his own books, which is pretty unusual, and he brought a very different perspective to the judging.
And a little bit of miscellany about the books. They've been translated into 21 languages, including Braille, and sold an impressive 2 million copies. Janine Van Gool came from Calgary, where she's a publisher, editor, and designer of the fabulous Uppercase magazine, as well as bookmaker, fabric designer. She has so many projects, it's amazing that she would put all that aside and come spend 3 days geeking out over type.
And then there was Deb Wood, an art director and book designer. Deb has an impressive wealth of amazing work, most recently with Abrams, but also Princeton Architectural Press, Aperture, Martha Stewart, Penguin, and Rizzoli.
And these judges together selected 200 winning designs from nearly 1,800 entries. And while we certainly can't go into all the details right now, quickly we want to show you the judges' top personal picks.
Oh, also be sure to look in the gallery because all these pieces will be noted with a sticker.
Spencer Charles selected this free speech poster by Mark Fox and Angie Wang of San Francisco's Design is Play. So the judging took place the weekend after the US presidential inauguration, and beyond the aesthetic critiques, the piece of course provoked a huge amount of political conversation, and this was really just a lively conversation that went on for quite a bit of time. And it raised a lot of questions about the designer's role in society, as well as how the TDC can or should participate in such a dialogue.
Stuart Devlin selected branding work for Viceland, Vice's new television network. Design is by Brooklyn-based agency Gretel. Let's take a look. That is some sexy Helvetica. Stuart said, I really, really wish I had done this myself.
Xerxes Irani chose Hamburg-based Katrin Oeding's branding work for Essenza, and he cited its impeccable photography and considered mix of custom typography and motoculture.
Alejandro Paul selected the Arabic Lettering Workshop series, designed by a joint team from Beirut, New York, and Amsterdam. The designers are Kajag Apelian, Yara Khoury, Wal Marcos, and Christian Sarkis, who is actually one of the designers Dan mentioned in the Typeface judges' choices.
Ben Schatz selected motion titles designed by Bonfire Labs for the annual Salesforce Design Leadership Conference. And here's just a little excerpt of that. The complete videos for the Vice video and this one and all the others are in the back of the gallery, and you can watch the whole thing.
Janine Van Gool selected Yan Ting Chen's playful book cover for the National Taiwan University's annual design portfolio. It allows readers to design their own rubber band alphabets, and it's a pretty unusual approach for an architecture program.
Deb Wood selected Design Army for their design of Commotion, a semi-annual magazine that was produced for Maryland Institute College of Arts. Congratulations to Pum Lefebvre, Mariella Su, and Lillian Ling. And this is one of my favorites too, because it's just so varied and exuberant and detailed. In the gallery, you'll find copies of this if you want to thumb through. Of course, this competition isn't just about seasoned professionals. The TDC really wants to strive to nurture new talent. And nearly 30% of this year's communication design entries were submitted by students. It's worth noting also that while this work was judged separately from the professional entries, it nevertheless really was of extraordinary quality.
In the student category of the competition, there were about 250 entries, and 3 were selected by the judges for special recognition. Third place, with a prize of $300, goes to Kevin Kremer for Resign. Kevin's school is Media Design Hochschule in Munich, and his professor is Sibylle Schmitz. Congratulations to Kevin.
The second place award, $500, goes to Miriam Rieger for her innovative book, 2 volumes on synesthesia. Miriam also studies at Media Design Hochschule in Munich with Sibylle Schmitz and Tobias Wöhr. So congratulations to Miriam and good work, Munich. Sorry, both of these students were not able to be here tonight, but let's give a nice round of applause for them.
The $1,000 first place award, and I should point out that monetary awards are given only to the students. No one else gets any compensation. First place award is to Jose Neves, and yes, it really is Jose, of School of Visual Arts here in New York for Smoke Printer. Jose's entry is an ashtray, which creates a message in the smoke once the cigarette is put out. So congratulations, Jose. Please come up.
Amazing.
Thank you.
So we want to cap off this portion of the program by announcing the single entry that the judges unanimously selected as outstanding, the best in show. And obviously this involved a lot of discussion, a whole chunk of Sunday afternoon. Again, a key part of the philosophy we want to embrace here is tradition, but we also want to look to the future, to new talent, to new techniques. We want to learn ourselves and get better. And this year's contest really proved that point because the Best in Show award is being given to a student.
And the award for this year's Best in Show goes to...
La La Land.
No, it's Jose Neves. Amazing.
Jose, come back to the stage.
Come back up, Jose.
Jose, well deserved. Congratulations. You'll be out in the lobby later awaiting your job offers.
And congratulations to all the winners in this year's competition. The competition was fierce. The victory's hard-won. Start collecting your work now because next year's competition begins late this year. As a final shout-out, we'd like to thank Left Loft in Milan. We are truly indebted to designers Giulio Ferrarella and Roberta Cramarosa, who created the entire look for this competition, and they've been wonderful collaborators, and we're very, very patient with our Skype challenges. They've made this year's campaign design and the annual truly exceptional. Thank you for making us look so good.
Indeed. And all of the great work you've seen tonight and out in the gallery and much more will be featured in the upcoming Design Annual, which is included with your TDC membership and also will be available later this year in the new TDC online store. Yeah. Here's a little sneak peek of the cover, and they really captured some of the sense of the animation by using a lenticular on this, so this will be really fun to see in the flesh. A few more quick shout outs and thank yous are in order. First, of course, always thanks to our fearless director, Carol Wahler, for her endless dedication and hard work. And Susan B., our social media director, who wrangled all of the online assets and has really been pushing TDC out more visibly into the world, and has also been a huge help putting together tonight's show.
Also to Chris Andriola and Kevin Newman, the TDC web developers, to Catalina Colsar, the photographer for Judging Weekend, Abby Goldstein and Karl Heine, and all the other TDC members who generously shared their past competition experiences, and of course to the volunteers, because all of this couldn't get done without your commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to all the designers in the exhibition tonight and to our award-winning students. And Jose, where are you, Jose? Congratulations. Best in Show from a student. That's amazing. He's there if anybody's looking for new, really exciting talent. I've been part of the TDC. I've been a member of TDC for a bunch of years now and just recently joined the board. And in addition to all the people that you've heard thanked up here on stage, I just want to thank all of the TDC board who make being part of this organization so wonderful and so exciting. And if you're not a member, please, please do consider joining. It is such a valuable and important community that we're part of. So again, congratulations to all the designers in the exhibition tonight, to the students, and to everyone from around the world. It is truly an international celebration of the best typography in the world. And this tradition, this striving for excellence and nurturing new talent, really has a long history at TDC. And we'd like to pause here for a moment and invite our fearless leader, our club director, Carol Wahler, to the stage to share a reflection on one of our club's greatest members. And I also want to tell you that Carol sort of whispered to me a little bit earlier today. She said, "Debbie, this is my 34th reception." So give me a hand. Let's welcome Carol Wahler and congratulate her 34th reception.
Unfortunately, I have to talk to you about, well, it's fortunate and unfortunate. I discovered on May 1st, well, actually, I discovered 2 weeks ago that on May 1st, Jerry Craw passed away. And Jerry, he was a member of the club since 1947. He was a board member in the mid-50s, and I got to know him in '83 when I started. He was on the board, and he was the club historian. So it's sad for me to be able to do this evening. But it was fun in a way, if you want to put it that way, to be able to look into what he was like, since I didn't get to know him till later on in his life. And I found out that he had this intense love of smells and sights, and he took all these loves and he put that into his art, into his painting, and into his calligraphy, and anything that he did in print as well. And he had a love of French school. He loved the food, he loved the artists. He loved it so much that he learned to speak French fluently. He also loved the letter form, and on street signs in London, for example, or the Japanese print, or the majestic capital S, or the sweeping tail of an R on the arch or on the monument of pre-Christian Rome. He was a graduate of Cooper Union in 1939, and he loved the 4 years that he spent here. And then he got his job right after school at the American Color Type. It was a New Jersey lithography company. And that's where he designed folders, greeting cards, and blotters. And when I was reading this, I'm saying to myself, how many of you in the audience even know what a blotter is today? So here you can see that's what he did at that time, the greetings and the different cards. Then in 1943, he went to work for Tri-Arts Press as the first art director, later their VP. And then he left there in 1968 to start his own company, Freeman Core Design. Jerry received the TDC Medal in 1988. And since I'm with the club so long, and I always try to remember something special from all the different events that we have. And Jerry told a story when he received his medal that evening, that he was staying at a hotel. And many years ago, they don't do that anymore. They would put strips over the toilet seat to say that it was cleaned. And it was in his typeface. And he said, wow, now I'm famous. So as you can see, here's the different typefaces. Of course, Claude Crowden, most people know. Book, Ad-lib that the advertising agencies all used. In 1977, his calligraphic art, he donated it to museums, one of which was MoMA, Cooper Hewitt, and the Whitney. He did the TDC logo. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the logo he did for us is calligraphic. And the board, he did this for us in the early 1950s. He actually did it for an invitation to a meeting we were having. And the board kept it going for over 40 years. But in there it is, oh, almost. And then in 1994, the board decided we needed something that wasn't as calligraphic. And that's why we had it changed. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with that one, but that was our very first logo. The one on the bottom is Communication Arts, Tri-Arts Press that he worked for. Then you have Martha Graham, and then the College Entrance Exam Board. Jerry, in 1958, the TDC had a seminar in Silvermine, Connecticut. We had 500 people from around the world participate. So when Jerry was at the seminar, he was the moderator, and he would dwell on the different needs for studying the allied arts to deepen one's own development in typographic design. And he said, without modern art, modern typography does not exist. Everyone that met or knew Jerry loved Jerry. He was warm and he was very friendly. So tonight, I would just say, Jerry, rest in peace. We do miss you. Thank you. Now, Jerry was an important part of our history, but the TDC also supports the next generation of talent through education, through scholarships, scholarship awards. Beatrice Warde was the first female TDC member. It's not here, but I just want to tell you how all this happened. We have visited class visits all the time, and one of my board members brought one of his classes in, and I talk about the club for about an hour, the whole history. And at the very end, because I'm always talking about the gentleman, the gentleman, the gentleman, and at the very end he said, "Who was the first woman?" And I go, "I didn't know. I knew who the first president was, but not the first female." The very next day, Abby Goldstein brought her class. Same thing. That never happened. 2 days in a row. I go, "Oh my God, now I need to find out." The only source I have is the minutes. So I went through the minutes, and that's when I discovered Beatrice Warde. I go, "Oh my God, this is amazing." So I had called our past president, Graham Clifford. I was so excited about this. He says, "Carol, we need to do a scholarship." I said, "Yes." And he said, "For women only." I go, "Yes, that's such a great idea. I'm calling Monotype." I mean, what else would you do, right? So I called Monotype, and I had spoken to Gwen, Steele, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. And I said, "We always give $1,000 scholarships." And she said, "We don't give $1,000. I go, "Oh." She goes, "We give $5,000. I go, "Oh, this is fantastic." And that started the Beatrice Warde, the TDC Beatrice Warde Scholarship, sponsored for Monotype. And now I'm going to introduce, well, here we go, Gwen Steele from Monotype.
Thanks, Carol. You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. Welcome. So glad you're here. I have a few words about Beatrice Warde. She was born in 1900 and was a champion of education throughout her professional career with the Monotype Corporation. I believe I'm supposed to be clicking something, yes? Yes. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry about that. Her office was an open door for anyone interested in typography. Numerous people in the early stages of their career spent time with Beatrice to learn about both the art and craft of typography. Her focus was to help everyone have a better understanding and appreciation for typography, which has lived on in the hundreds of essays, books, articles, and lectures she gave on the topic. The scholarship, based solely on merit, will be awarded to a student whose work demonstrates excellent talent, sophistication, and skill in the use of typography. The criteria for the scholarship extends across many disciplines, including design criticism and type design and graphic design, since Beatrice Warde was a writer and educator who became the promoter of the monotype works of her time. Just as Beatrice was trying to encourage best of use in technology in her time, the student candidates for the scholarship are encouraged to demonstrate the application of typography in all forms of current media. The Monotype brand has been synonymous with type for more than 125 years. Throughout our history, we've celebrated design and have pushed the boundaries of what type can do. Today, we're home to some of the world's most widely used typefaces that are seen everywhere. We are passionate about type, but more importantly, ensuring that type has a vibrant figure. Beatrice Warde was one of the best type advocates the world has ever known. Her dedication and enthusiasm for typography during her 30-plus year career at Monotype is still widely admired 45-plus years after her death. Recognizing Beatrice's spirit of commitment and excellence, we're proud to be supporting the TDC in this very, very special scholarship.
So here's the 5 ladies that are on the committee. So everything is female in this case. And they are from around the world. So you can see their names right up here. And now we are going to announce our winner. Tasneema.
Is Tasneema here?
Yes, she is.
There.
Yes, she is. This scholarship, don't go away yet. The scholarship certificate, we just want to show you. Martina Floor did that for us. So she can show it off to you later, okay? And
No, you
no,
can go.
now you can go. She attends Rhode Island School of Design. And she will have, again, she receives a year's membership at the club as well. And now I'd like to welcome Karl Heine, the chairman of the TDC Scholarship Committee, to award this year's student scholarships.
The scholarship includes $1,000 plus a one-year membership to the TDC with all its benefits. 7 schools are given scholarships, 5 New York schools, 1 US, and 1 international. Our first winner is Michelle Dines from FIT. Anna Feng, Parsons School of Design at the New School. Koki Kobori of School of Visual Arts. Yes. Kelsey Sugg, College of Creative Studies, Detroit. Alex Tomlinson, the Cooper Union School of Art. Zeynep Gunjur, Pratt Institute. And we'd also like to recognize 2 other students who are unable to attend tonight. Virginie Jameson, Université de Quebec, Montreal. And let's have another round of applause for the next generation. And I'll now turn it back over to Debbie Millman. Thanks.
As I think you know, the club is celebrating its 70th anniversary, and one of our traditions, and one that doesn't happen every year, is bestowing the TDC Medal of Excellence upon an individual or an institution who has made a major contribution to the field of typography. The first TDC medal was presented to Herman Zapp in 1967. Here you can see the long list of esteemed colleagues who have received this tribute for exceptional contribution to typography in all forms. In 2014, the honor was given to Font Bureau's David Berlow, in 2015 to Louise Feely, and last year to Emma Gray. So I'd like to welcome Dan Rhatigan and Carol Wahler back to the stage to present our 2017 honoree.
This year, we're honoring Dr. Gerard Unger.
And we're so glad he's here tonight. Over the years, I've had the great pleasure of working with Gerard's typefaces. I've happily been in position to recommend his typefaces to many, many other people. And I've traveled enough to see how widespread their use is all over. More significantly, though, I am one of many designers who's had the great privilege of studying with Gerard and really benefiting from his great wisdom, taking inspiration from his work, and just enjoying his extreme personal graciousness and charm and dapper approach to life overall. We're really, truly delighted to have Gerard with us here tonight. And as well as Gerard.
And I'd like to mention that tonight's honors are even more special, as we're joined tonight by Robert Glaus, the Director of Visual Arts, Architect, and Design from the Consulate General of the Netherlands here in New York City. Welcome.
Before we bring Dr. Unger to the stage, we'd like to share a short film interview that was produced for us by Strange Attractors. So take a few minutes and enjoy some of what makes Gerard so charming and so delightful to spend time with?
When I entered the profession, 1967, there was a period of absolute upheaval. Letterpress and metal type were being replaced by phototypesetting and printing in offset. And so a huge technological change, and since then it simply hasn't stopped. So I had to pay attention if I wanted to do something in type design. I had to know what was going on. I had to be interested in technological developments. In 1974, I got in touch with a firm who invented the first digital typesetter, the Digiset in Germany. So I was involved in digital typesetting from very, very early on. Swift was entirely designed to keep the letterforms sort of alive in the technological onslaught that they were facing. This was when no do-it-yourself digital programs were available yet. So I had to make all drawings by hand, and then they were digitized by someone else. This is a newspaper typeface, and typefaces were then printed with very thin ink on rough paper, photographically typeset, and so you had to make an absolute survivor, and that is what Swift is. What do we do next? You want an illegible typeface? We're talking about reading. I made a few shapes. You see them here at the bottom that are not letterforms at all, but if you want to, you can make letterforms with them, and the word decoder you see here at the bottom is the Rome project was a fantastic project. Rome is a lovely city, and of course to get the job of designing the information and orientation system for the city of Rome and a typeface for Rome was a wonderful job. Of that one, I did a newspaper version as well, which is used by the Volkskrant here in the Netherlands. If you want to show a piece of Volkskrant, you have to wait till Monday morning. It was Petter van Blokland. Out of the big Icarus software, he had made Icarus M, and he gave me a beta version to work with, here, right above your head. And every 5 minutes there was a bomb on my screen. The bombs have completely disappeared, but actually it was a bomb. It looked like a bomb with a burning fuse. And there was a moment when my wife looked into my workspace and said, if you don't stop swearing and using bad words so much, I will divorce you. So that was the effect of the beta version of Icarus M, but we survived. I felt I had arrived at a sort of moment that it would be nice to try to write a coherent and all-encompassing theory of type design. What sort of tempted me was that Peter Bilak, you'll find it on his web in one of his blogs, claimed that a really complete theory of type design would be an impossibility. And I thought, well, I will show you and prove that it can be done. And I think I did it. You know how it is. When you've just finished the project, you start scratching your head and wondering, what am I going to do next? And maybe you have heard about variable typefaces, variable open type. That's a big challenge. That changes the game quite a lot. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to be part of that development, maybe. But I'm sort of trying to, instead of letting that technology wrap itself around me, I'm trying to wrap myself around the new technology and try to understand it. And but you don't know whether you've seen what the underwear man, Bas Jacobs and the others have been doing with it. It's fascinating. When you look at the letterforms of Nicolas Janson, for example, 1470, we have no problem reading those letterforms. So you may well wonder, what have type designers been doing for 500 years? They have been detailing the basic letterforms. They've practically left untouched. So we're moving tiny little particles of black stuff around, and nowadays bits of light and non-light, and that's what we've been doing. That's the profession.
And now it is with great pleasure to welcome the 2017 TDC Medal recipient, Dr. Gerard Unger.
Very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you. We've got a few things for Dr. Unger. I want to begin with the certificate that we are presenting with him. In recognition of his immeasurable contributions to the fields of typeface design and education, the Medal of the Type Directors Club is presented to Gerard Unger. For decades, you have served as a guiding inspiration in the field of typeface design. Through your teaching, you have fostered the skills of generations of creative individuals. With you as a role model, your students have gone on to become exceptional role models themselves. Your writing has provoked countless designers around the world to consider type in new and stimulating ways. Your influence is profound, and the history and practice of making and using letterforms is forever marked by your contributions. The Type Directors Club is proud to present you with the highest honor it can bestow upon an individual, the TDC Medal.
There it is. Oh, it's heavy.
And the medal says in the back, for distinguished contributions to the field of typeface design and education, awarded to Gerard Unger, 2017. And it's absolutely, I think it's the most beautiful one yet. This is our 30th, isn't that fantastic? In 50 years. Okay.
I've got a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a few words. It's great to be here tonight in New York, in the Cooper Union, with the Type Directors Club and with you all. To the Board of Directors of the TDC, thank you. They've disappeared. Thank you for your Medal of 2017. It is a great honor, and it feels particularly good to share it with such esteemed colleagues as Freeman Craw, you have just seen, and to name a few others, Herman Zaap, Robert Hunter Middleton, Georg Trump, Herb Lubellin, Adrian Frutiger, Matthew Carter, Günther Gerhard Lange, Erik Spiekerman, David Berlow, and Susanna Litschko and Rudy van der Lans, and many others on the list. Curiously, right now, it is exactly 50 years since I received my diploma at the Rietveld Academy in Amsterdam for passing my final examination there. My medal could not arrive at a better moment. When you take a bicycle, you can be a cyclist, meaning that you can make the bicycle work. When you get a medal, you are a medalist, which is a recipient. You can also be a maker of medals. Actually, I have designed 2 medals in my career. A bicycle will let you pedal, but you cannot medal. It is not a verb. Yet, that is exactly what I am going to do. I am going to make this medal work for me. And it is by far the best boost I ever had. Thank you again.
Thank you again to Dr. Unger for coming to join us here tonight. We are all part of this. We are all part of this and participating. So please, next year, for the next year's awards, enter so that you too can win and be on this stage. Another hand for Dr. Unger. So looking ahead to next year's competition, I just want to let you know that work is already underway with Type Design Competition Chair Elizabeth Carey Smith and TDC 64 Communication Design Competition Chairs Chris Sergio and Catherine Casalino. So we hope you, all of you, and your students and your friends and your family members submit your work so we can be honoring you this time next year. So we're going to let the credits roll. I want to thank you all for coming. Now, let's go get some drinks, because there are some drinks. And I want to thank everybody that's part of the TDC, the board, the members, and the audience, you all here today for coming and joining us. Thank you. Have a good night.